So we're going to go ahead and just jump into our first question, and really we just want you guys to get a better sense of like who these individuals are, why they're here, and then kind of give you more insight into like the perspective that they're going to be offering us during this conversation. So my first question to all of you, and it will be a little bit different for you, Dr. Akoma, is just in terms for our Villanova students, what brought you to Villanova, what year are you entering, and what is your major? And then Dr. Akoma, if you could tell us what brought you to Villanova, how long you've been here, and then what subjects you teach.
Cool.
All right, so any order.
So I'm Chiji Akoma. I'm an associate professor of English. But right now, I'm also the chair of the Department of Global Interdisciplinary Studies. It's a great new program. It's been in existence for at least the last 13 years as an institute, but 2 years ago, it was upgraded into a regular departmental academic program. And I've been here at Villanova for 18 years. I wasn't counting, but then if you're a subscriber to LinkedIn, they tell you when you just registered any of the new years. So that's how I realized, oh, I've been here 18 years. But they've been wonderful years for me. And these past 18 years, I've taught a variety of courses, mostly African literature, Caribbean literature, occasionally African American literature, and then Black British literature. So basically, my area of expertise is African and African diaspora literatures and cultural production. So that's what I do mostly. But now and then too, I've taught ACS, the freshman seminar, Augustine and Culture. I actually find ACS probably my most rewarding class. You know, I'm encountering students. I teach the modern, but sometimes I teach it in the first semester in the fall. It's always been fascinating for me encountering students right on their very first semester in college. And I just feel like, whoa, this is a great opportunity to just mess up their minds. Just disabuse them of whatever they had going in. And it's just a way of, it's like when you want to plant a crop, you have to first till the ground. Tilling the ground means scattering it. You have to break the soil composition down before you plant that seed, and then it grows up. So I feel like that is just a great opportunity for me to do that business of tilling the ground. So I teach ACS now and then. That was it. Thank you.
Okay. Ladies, go ahead and introduce yourselves.
I'm Rebecca. Hi.
Hi.
So when I graduated high school, I wanted to go to a university that offered a good education and that it was somewhere where people really care about people. So Villanova has a lot of volunteering. They're based in Augustinian Catholicism. So I knew it was a place where people really cared. And then I came to the College of Professional Studies because I needed the flexibility to start part-time first.
And what's your major?
My major is General Studies. I'm a sophomore.
Hi, I'm Andrene. My major is Communication. I'm a junior. And what brought me to Villanova is like when I was younger, my mom also works here. She would always like take me here because nobody could watch me. And I would always like see like the sense of community, and everybody was just so nice, and there's just so many resources. And like the academic side of Villanova, I feel like everyone would like, there's a lot of resources to help you through your classes, and like I feel like you're never alone here. And I just love the support system because I feel like if I'm coming from my home, this should be my other home.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah. And can you tell us a little bit, I mean, you shared a little bit about your experience here, but as a student, can you guys share the experience that you've had so far?
It's been very welcoming. The advising staff is great, and the professors are very accommodating as long as you communicate with them. I've also been to learning support a lot. That's a great resource. And then one of the things that I thought was really important when I started was doing ACS. So I think really the point is to help you grow as a person. and I became very close with my ACS professors. And then another thing that I experienced here is that we have a commuter lounge if you don't live on campus, but it's really great that we have the student lounge here now. So I've had a lot of welcoming experiences and a lot of support here.
When I first started my freshman year, it was kind of challenging because I am a first generation college student, so I don't really have like any family members to get advice from. But eventually I began to like find resources like CASA. And that's like a organization for minorities and underprivileged students, and the Learning Support Center, and they really like helped me like get through like a lot of like hard times, and like they helped me with resources for my academics, and they also like paired me up with a life coach. So like eventually like I got like through like the hard times, you know. I'm here now.
And that kind of segues into the next question about if you can share some of the obstacles that you faced while being here, and then what resources did you use here on campus?
So I have mental health issues, and I've been on medical leave a few times, but Villanova has always welcomed me back from medical leave. So they've been really great. And then to overcome having mental health problems besides just taking care of that outside of Villanova, it's really important to reach out to your advisors, to reach out to LSS, to email your professors. The counseling center is also really great. And then on top of that, I just became involved as much as I could. So I joined Spanish Club, I joined an art literature magazine, I volunteered with MLK Day and the other opportunities that Villanova has. And now this semester I'm doing Spanish Table, which is really cool. You just speak Spanish in Doherty. And then Outdoor Club, where you just hike in different places. So getting involved has been really helpful to overcome my obstacles.
Some obstacles that I faced was definitely the lack of diversity. I come from Coatesville, Pennsylvania, and it's a pretty diverse community. So when I came here, it was just like culture shock. I was just like, I wasn't used to being the only African American woman in my classes. But at the same time, I decided to use it as my advantage because it makes me gain a closer relationship with my professors because, you know, they're not going to forget my face and they're always going to remember my name because I'm the only black girl. And then I also found CASA, and that helped me like get a better sense of home because it's mainly minorities in CASA. And then it also helped me gain perspective of this country and like a different perspective of the school. I saw like the academic perspective, the economic perspective, because, you know, I am from a diverse community, so I only saw like that diverse perspective. And then like elementary school, I grew up in just like a predominantly African American community, so I just saw that. So like now that I'm here, it's kind of different, but at the same time, I like to see the world like through different lenses. And with CASA, it also helped me to go on a service trip this past spring break. I went to San Diego and I went to Mexico, and I got to gain another perspective on like immigration and the inequalities that happens in this country. So even though it was, when I first came in, I thought it was a disadvantage that I was African American, I tried to make that as my advantage.
Thank you. And Dr. Akoma, can you share with us maybe some of the obstacles that you've witnessed in your students that you teach that are common?
That's a tough one because it really ranges. I'll begin with ACS because that is where most of the students are freshmen. So they're coming from high school and they're in there. One of the things I noticed from the tendency was just students believing they have time only to find out that they really don't have much time. I mean, you're coming from high school and things are pretty regimented. You're being guided, and you come in here and it's really your call, as it were. Nobody is waking you up to do anything. No, you're not catching any bus or it's just you. And even though the syllabus may outline, okay, paper 1 is due February 6th, paper 2 is due March 8th, whatever it is. But some of these students then, they come to class, but they're not keeping track of everything that comes with coming to class. And so by the time the midterm has come or probably gone, they're already behind. So, and I talked to some of them ultimately because I'm interested in knowing what's going on. Why haven't you submitted this or that? And it comes down to confessions of, I thought I had time. I thought, there was just these ample pockets of time all over the place. And only for them to realize that, no, you may be in this one class, but you have 4 other classes you're also attending. When you combine all of them, it could be challenging. So one of the obstacles is therefore too much time, they think, and then only to realize that you really don't have much time. So that is one thing, one particular obstacle I think students have. The other one, again, I'm speaking from my experience as an instructor here, not approaching the professor. Seeing the professor as distant. He or she is this person you see at 10 o'clock on Tuesday and Thursday, and at 11:15 it's over. Whatever she says there, whatever happens there, ends there, and you feel all you owe this professor is that assignment or whatever they have asked of you. But I think that not recognizing the professor as, not recognizing that learning happens beyond that classroom, that, yeah, it's tough climbing to room 402 in Tollentine, to meet this professor there, but not recognizing that you could learn more when you go to see this same professor at SAC or wherever the professor is. I think it's an obstacle in itself because there is so much you can learn through visiting the professor during their office hours or any other time that you both arrange. And so if you see the professor as only existing within the world of the classroom and not seeing him or her as existing beyond that, especially as far as your own learning, then you'll be missing out. I think I'm speaking for many professors. I know some of my colleagues may like to shut their door, but most of us really are interested in meeting students to extend the learning process beyond the classroom.
Thank you very much. And there's 2 things that I want to add to that. If anybody feels like they do have a problem with time management, we do have, the Learning Center does have a lot of videos online that can help you just with little simple ideas that will be very helpful. I really appreciate that. And also, if you do develop relationships with your professor, when you graduate, if you decide to go on to graduate school, or even if you're applying for a job, many of those professors are willing to write you a recommendation, and that's, again, if you've developed a relationship with them over, the period of your time here.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Particularly as somebody who was in college not that long ago, you think my life has moved on and they may not remember. Professors remember you, right? So I have professors that even though they haven't taught me in over 10 years, I can email them and say hey, how's everything going? And still be able to use them as a resource. So I think it's important that even after, like Robin said, after you leave, still maintain that connection with them because you never know when you might need those people. So thank you for that. So to everyone here, you guys have all kind of touched on it a little bit, but if you could just give me, 1 or 2 resources that you found extremely helpful in your process, and then Dr. Akoma, likewise, maybe 1 or 2 resources that you have given to students or have seen your most successful students use time and time again.
The Writing Center. Well, because I'm in literature, so we write a lot of papers there. But the Writing Center is one of the best kept secrets, on this campus. Sometimes students think that when your professor says, "Oh, you have to go to the Writing Center," it's like that is the proof that you've done poorly. You don't write. But I send my all students. Many times I make it part of my requirement for the course that you have to visit the Writing Center to do one of the revisions of your work. And that's because, I do, if students send me a draft on their essay, I will read it, make all the comments, and send it back to them. But the Writing Center, there you have your peers, smart students, many of them are graduate students, and who are really, really keen on helping you make the most of your ideas. It is not a place where you learn. It's not like you wrote something terribly and therefore that is the place to go and redeem yourself. No, this is actually a place where even however good whatever you've written, you've got to make it, you have the opportunity to make it better. So I say the Writing Center is where bad writers become good and good writers become better. So there's something for everyone there. It's a great resource. They will like you to set up an appointment, but they also have walk-ins. So you can just go there and there'll be somebody there, a tutor there that will look at your work with the sense and the mindset of being a fellow student or graduate student. But they'll be there to understand, to try to ask you and probe, to say, all right, what exactly do you want to tell Professor Akoma in this paper? And they walk through it. So it's a different space than what you would do with me. Like I said, I will go through your paper with you. But just having that somebody who is more, where you are, your peers, where it's a great resource, that I really like to refer to every student. There's never any point where you outgrow the value of the Writing Center. The second one is more like a cliche, which is the library. Talk to your librarian, not just go in there. It can be overwhelming. You looked up something and you go to PS and you're seeing PS 1977. And there's like 1977, until A and then B. You're still in 1977. So it can be very overwhelming. But there is value in it, in just browsing, going through those shelves. You are looking for 1977 8.12. But think about what I have encountered many times where I'm looking for 1977 8.12 and boom, 8.11 is actually what hits it for me. Just before getting to there, that one I see before, you won't get that experience through Google. You see, because the beauty of going to the library is, okay, that's the book I'm looking for. I know it's on the 4th floor. I know it's on that aisle. But I'm browsing to get to that one. But I'm seeing a new topic. I'm seeing a title that just catches my attention. I open it. I'm looking at the page, the table of contents. It's either somebody I've heard about or the title itself. So there is so much you discover in the library by just going there. If you don't know where to start, ask a librarian. I don't know people who are more eager to display and show what they know than librarians. Oh my God. Just say you have something, you have an issue, you have a topic, and they're so eager, they're happy, they're smiling. So it's an incredible resource, the librarian. So Writing Center, library, 2 places I always refer to students.
Thank you.
Sure.
Ladies, what is your take on resources that you think could be super beneficial for students, your peers? And it doesn't just have to be academic, it can be social, anything that has really helped you in your student experience.
Okay. Definitely CASA. Like, CASA is home. And especially if you don't live on campus, it's a way to meet other minorities and just students that's just like you. And like I can't like stress enough like how many like opportunities CASA has like opened for me. And the math center, the math center is just so helpful. When I was taking my math class, I feel like the math center just they are the reason why I passed. I was in there like every day and they did not get sick of me. And they will like teach you the equation over and over again, and they just like they're the professor. Like they are so helpful and they take your time with you. They don't make you feel like you're stupid or you don't know anything. I think that's it.
So, learning support services has been super important for me. I have bipolar disorder, and I've been like kind of in and out of hospitals for like 4 years. And that's been the one place where there are always resources that even if you're sick or even if you have like a physical injury, like you broke your leg and you're having trouble getting to classes, or like me, if you have a mental health issue, they're constantly teaching you how to relearn things. They're always open, and the people there are very supportive. Even if you just drop in and say, hey, I'm having a hard time with this class, and then you sit down and you break it down, like, how can we get you organized? How can we address whatever issues you're having around this? So learning support has been really important for me.
So is there one more bit of advice that you would give our new incoming students that you think is important to know before we wrap up?
I think don't stress out. I feel like I did this a lot as a freshman, and it doesn't do anything for you. Don't get your work done faster, and like it really doesn't. And everything is temporary, so if you think that you can't get past this semester or this test, like you can, it's temporary. Like it's not the end of the world. And a closed mouth does not get fed. If you want help but you don't say anything, you're not going to get help. Sometimes you have to ask around and look for people, and you will find like what you're looking for. Just ask for help and go to office hours and get a planner too.
Yeah. I just got a planner for the first time, so I know what you mean. I think just be on campus as much as you can. Try to get involved. Like, you got involved with CASA and volunteering. And just know that you belong here.
I love those. And I was listening to you, Rebecca, talking about the degree of your student involvement. You are involved in many things, which is a good thing. Because the university there's the academic part of being here. But there's also a social, and I don't mean like party, that is part of it. But I mean that there is a space outside of the classroom that is also part of your learning, part of your growing. You have to be involved in things. I don't say overwhelm yourself with those, but you need to have another way of directing your energies outside of the classroom. So is it CASA? Is it outdoors club? Is it a sorority or fraternity? Whatever it is, but there's got to be a way in which you also engage your peers in a different level. There's a kind of engagement that happens in the classroom, but there's also another kind of engagement that happens when you participate in student government. When you take up a leadership position in some other extracurricular event or club organization within campus, you're learning so many things about leadership. You're learning how to be a part of an idea outside of the classroom. So making that part of your agenda while in college, to me, is also very significant. Because if all you do is be in the classroom, you will do well. But you will have also missed out on some other things that we are trying to do here as in a university, it seems to me.
Thank you so much. So I think that about wraps it up for today, but I want to thank all of you, the panel, for coming today. I think everybody in here has learned something from you, and I really appreciate that. I appreciate you guys taking the time to come out, because this is really super important, and this is the first session of this series of Feed Your Mind, so we're glad that you were able to participate. We have a survey that is in your inbox right now in your email. And if you could answer that, that would be helpful for us for, organizing the rest of the series. And then also we have a few freebies to give away if you could do that for us. So, so we appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Please help
Thanks for
yourself
coming.
to pizza.
Yeah.
And if you guys have any questions or you want to talk to anybody, if you're shy and don't want to do it in a group setting, that's totally fine. They'll be here for a few more minutes and you can kind of mingle and ask them any questions you have. Ask us any questions if you have anything, but we're super appreciative of you guys being here. And please eat the pizza. Okay? All right. Thank you so much.